keeping you connected to our community. 11 Connects.
And as always, thanks so much for joining us on 11 Connects. I'm your host, Tony Keith, and we are currently at Heidrick's Colorado Tree Farm Nursery, joined by Levi Heidrick himself. And Levi, we're talking about, it's summer right now, a beautiful time of year in Colorado, but is it the best time to plant trees?
It's one of the best, yes. I mean, the old adage is the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago, so you've got something to enjoy and sit under and swing on now. But summer's a great time to plant. Every year we plant more trees in June and July than any other months, because everybody waits till May or shortly after to buy anything, so you get this big backlog of work that you got to get done. But you know, the benefits are that if you plant it now, it's going to get a lot of root growth done before the ground freezes this winter. So the more root growth you have, really the better chances you have of establishing something and getting it through the winter months.
You don't want to wait a few months then?
Not if you're ready to go. If your landscape's ready and you're at that stage, now's a great time to get them in, just to get them started. Inventory is usually going to look better this time. You know, like these deciduous trees, we can't really start digging more trees till they lose their leaves, which is usually mid to late October. So generally the inventory is always better early on, and it dwindles down throughout the summer. You know, we'll keep getting some things in, but I think you'll have better selection.
Let's talk about the planting process.
Right.
For getting the right tree, myself, I'm just picturing myself taking a step back, looking at my yard, envisioning something,
right.
But you might not know what's going on. Maybe come to you guys. What do you have to think about?
I mean, we're always open. If you're not sure where or what to plant, to bring us pictures of bring pictures actually, don't think about that, bring pictures, because it makes it easier for us to give you advice. Trying to envision what you're talking about with just vague measurements and slope and the house, it's a lot easier with today's technology to bring actual pictures in. But we can offer you some general advice as to like where to put a large shade tree or an ornamental tree, something like that. If you've got requirements from your HOA or your covenants, make sure you know that. You don't want to get trees out there and get them in the ground too soon or in the wrong place.
And being that it is summer, another topic when it comes to watering a tree. Let's say you got a brand new tree in the ground a couple of weeks ago. How much water is that going to take?
So it's not as simple as that. You got to check, and every tree is going to be different based on the size of the tree. Was it potted? Was it balled and burlapped? Is your soil sand, clay, is in a turf area? The basics are you want to get it saturated and then dry it out. So you don't want to keep it wet all the time, because then it's not going to have oxygen, and if it's got oxygen all the time, it doesn't have water. So you saturate it, dry it out, saturate it, dry it out. And the best way to check that is to dig down outside the root ball about 6 to 8 inches deep and feel it. And if it's moist and wet, then you let it dry out a little bit longer. If it's starting to get dry and crumbly, losing that moisture, then you want to saturate it.
There's a lot of factors, and then on top of that, a lot of time and care. It's not an easy process. You can't just plant it, step away. You really got to think about it, plan out the watering.
Right. They're like having little kids initially. I mean, you want to pay attention and check them. They're an investment, and it's definitely something that once you get it dialed in and understand how your soil works with your irrigation system, or if we get rain and things like that, you'll have a better idea of how quickly it takes to dry something out.
Let's talk about the selection at Heidrick's Tree Farm. I'm looking around. There's quite a bit that I can see, but what kind of trees do you have?
So we have a lot. I mean, I've always specialized in things that grow here, so we're very picky about what we sell and where it comes from. Our goal is to provide the best quality plants, the best quality service, and there's that whole value, that whole package together. But if you go on our website, on our app called The Perfect Plant, you can browse different varieties. It's not an actual inventory, but it'll let you do a lot of research at home to understand what we might offer. And then come down and see us. The inventory is going to change daily and weekly as we get old stuff, sold stuff out of here and get new things in.
It is a lot more of a commitment than growing tomato plants. So
yes,
let's say you're like me, you're brand new to it. What's the best tree, starter tree, we want to call it?
I'm gonna give you maybe my top 5. If you want a shade tree, I like bur oak, sensation maple, hackberry, honey locust, and maybe Kentucky coffee tree are pretty solid. Some of them are very xeric, very drought tolerant, but just good all-around trees that we sell quite a few of.
I just learned about 3 different trees I didn't know about before. I know people are probably hitting up Google right now, but better to just come here in person, talk to the experts. So Levi, just let our 11 Connects viewers know, what can they do coming out here?
Sure, we're located near Woodman and Black Forest Road. You can check us out online at coloradotreefarmnursery.com or call us at 598-TREE, and if you get the voicemail, do leave a message, we will call you back.
Perfect. Levi, like you said, he's local, he knows what he's talking about, he's been here, he knows Colorado. We appreciate the advice. Go check him out in person. Any questions you got, he's got the answers.